Okay, very happy to be joined by Jawany Scott, who is fighting 20th of July this coming Saturday as you watch this. About a week out now. Cage Warriors 174 at the Indigo taking on Ger Harris. Jawany, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time we've had you on the website in this format. Kyle spoke to you in person after the last fight. But just since it's the first time, give us the backstory. How did you find MMA? When did you know that it was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so how I found it initially was through my jiu-jitsu coach, Steve O'Keefe, at a gym that was giving us like Muay Thai, boxing, and whatnot. And I was training with a few of my training partners. We all just used to train, just used to come after school, never thought much of it. I just knew I always liked to fight anyway, but then my coach saw that I was doing quite well and I was like getting better at it. And then he introduced me to the idea of fighting, and I was like, nah, I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
And then once I did get interested, he was like, look, you could take this like seriously as a professional career. And then I kind of got hooked. And then that's when I started watching other fighters. So, like I really started taking an interest in it. But it's also because of the training partners I had at the time as well. They were there training just as hard as I was. So that was even more motivation to stay in the gym and stay out of trouble outside of it. So yeah, once I realized I could take it professionally and have it as a career, I just committed my all to it and been training since. Yeah.
Yeah, I know in the past I saw another interview you done, you talked about kind of the schedule you have, how like it really shows how dedicated you are. You're doing night shifts, you're then going straight into
Yeah.
the gym, things like that. Is that still the case?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even realize. I can't remember that. But yeah, that's literally still the case. Yeah. Yeah, so I worked last night, then trained this morning as well. But obviously now that obviously the fight's so soon, I've taken some time off, basically just a week off now. And obviously dialed down the training, mostly focusing on getting the weight down now. So yeah, this is the hard bit.
Yeah. How much weight are you looking at cutting? Obviously you fight at 125, so
Yeah.
how big of a drop is it for you normally?
Yeah. So from what I walk around at, probably about 9 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 9 kilos I've got to lose. Uh, yeah, yeah, but around about there, 8, 9. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not easy. I know there's guys that lose, obviously got to lose more. And the way I do it as well, I kind of leave it to the last moment because I kind of enjoy training as best as I possibly can. Let's say up until maybe 2 weeks or a week out from the fight. That's when I hit like the diet hard. That's when I hit like, okay, now I know I need to start hitting the saunas and yeah, work on getting the weight down. But it works. It's tough, but it works for me.
Yeah, obviously your last fight was your Cage Warriors debut. As a pro, at least you'd obviously fought with them as an amateur and stuff, but
Yeah.
as a pro, you'd fought in Brave, Aries. What is it about Cage Warriors that is different from those organizations and some areas that maybe sets it apart from those organizations?
What I feel like is different from other organizations and what sets it apart is it's also the way they like promote their fighters, it's the shows that they put on, the energy and the atmosphere within like the stadiums or the arenas that they're in. Like it's always buzzing, it's always bubbly. And wherever you go in Europe, everyone knows Cage Warriors, you know what I mean? They've set that standard high for the level of fights, the quality of fights and the amount of fighters that they have that obviously potentially goes on to like UFC or other bigger promotions. So it's definitely like I wouldn't even say it's a stepping stone, but it's like a first hurdle to go through. You know what I mean? And if you could get through it and like win against good opponents, then yeah. And another thing was also on those shows that I was even fighting on, they'll put me up against good opponents, and Cage Warrior is doing the same thing. So to be honest, it's something I'm used to from my amateur career all the way up from my professional career. So yeah, and it's something I appreciate because it just makes me a better fighter as well.
Now, obviously, a few months down the line from that Cage Warriors debut, how do you look back and evaluate your performance in your Cage Warriors debut? Now we're only a few days away from the next one.
Yeah, I was fairly pleased with it. Obviously, besides the mishap in the first round, yeah, I couldn't get my bearings, but once I was able to get my bearings, I was able to find my shots and like put them away. But obviously, I think that's what you always want to do. You always want to put someone away or get the fight over as quick as possible. But that's not always the case. So I was prepared to go however rounds it would have went. Um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, obviously that first round was an issue to say the least, right?
yeah.
Um, obviously,
Yeah.
what was the issue there? Because obviously it's not a case of like your feet were wet or something or the
No,
canvas was wet,
no,
was it? What was the issue
no.
there?
what happened, my feet was actually dry. My feet was actually dry, and the canvas was fresh, obviously as well. And I just had like no grip on my feet whatsoever. And funny enough, I even tested the cage out beforehand, and Lon, my obviously training partner, he told me, look, make sure you grease your feet or cream your feet or something because you're gonna keep slipping around. And I completely forgot. And then I went into there the first round. I was like, shit, man, I couldn't land anything. If anything, the guy I think even won that first round. At the end of the round, Brad came to me and was like, you lost that first round. I was like, shit. But then we sorted my feet out, and then yeah, as good as gold from then.
Yeah, I watched that first round last night to prepare for this. And like at the end of the round, you've got the ref coming at you like, it's only you slipping, it's only you
Yeah,
slipping.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like yeah. Obviously, like, is that something you can prepare for now to make sure it
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
happen
yeah.
again? Is it just
Most definitely, yeah, yeah. So it's not a problem at all. Yeah, yeah, it's something I can prepare for real.
yeah. Ger Harris, the opponent this time, obviously an Irish guy. He's had a couple fights in Cage Warriors, Anthony Pettis FC as well. What are your thoughts on him from what you've seen?
I haven't watched much of him. I watched two of his fights. The last one we fought the same opponent. Not sure if you're aware of that, but I think that was my last. He's the same opponent was my last opponent on the Aries as well, and that guy's a tough guy. And for him to pull it off in the end, don't get me wrong, he was losing the fight. But obviously fair play to him, he pulled it off in the end with some slick jiu-jitsu. Uh, and he had another fight against I think a guy called Hewitt, which to be honest I wasn't too pleased about that fight. Yeah, but yeah, he won it in the end. He done what he needed to do. Yeah. So do I have any opinions on him? Not really. Um, do I have the skills to beat him? Most definitely. So it's not obviously he's someone I need to get through, but I always set my sights on that belt. But yeah, obviously he's the first hurdle I need to get over first.
Obviously, you've got a boxing background as well. You obviously talked about that in the past, but you're a very accomplished weightlifter as well,
Oh
which
yeah.
I mean, yeah. What are some of the skills from that sport that people might not realize, like super transferable to MMA?
Yeah, obviously with weightlifting and whatnot, it's a very like explosive and quick and powerful and like strength based sport. You know what I mean? And also is very technical. There's not many fighters that could even do that. You know what I mean? Let alone lift the weights that I lift, especially at a lighter weight category as well.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously, all those skills are definitely transferable in terms of like within wrestling, within boxing,
Mm.
um, and more than just that as well. There's like a mental side of it where it is extremely tough mentally, especially within the training, and not just when you go to compete as well. So, the fact I'm able to get over those mental blocks to be able to lift certain amount of weights is definitely transferable in terms of fighting because in fighting fighters are going to say stuff. Sometimes you're going to doubt yourself. So if you're able to like get over those mental hurdles, fights should be easy. And obviously, I've also competed in Muay Thai as well, K1 as well. Obviously, boxing, bit of jiu-jitsu as well. So yeah, I would say I'm fairly experienced, more experienced than a lot of these guys. You know what I mean? So getting into a cage with someone, it doesn't scare me at all. If anything, it excites me. It's just another challenge for me, and it's something that I always like welcome.
It's just that, like you mentioned, especially at your size, right? Like when you see, oh, he's got a weightlifting background. That's one that jumps off the page, you know?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. People are always surprised about that as well. Like I said, it's not something that many people do. Everyone
Mhm.
does a bit of weights with their S and
Yeah,
C
of
and things
course.
like that, but maybe not at the level at what I do as well. Especially like I
Hmm.
said, for my size and for my weight category as well. I lift like a lot of heavy weights, but it definitely helped me in terms of like muscle endurance, strength, like I said, explosivity. Um, and all those are transferable, especially in wrestling and especially in like boxing as well, where you could sit down on your punches, you could learn to move your body in different ways. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different sports that we have to do to train for MMA. So if you can move your body in all these different aspects, it's only beneficial come fight night.
Yeah, we have a bit of a quick fire segment as well. Some of these are MMA related, some of these aren't. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite food.
Has to be anything Jamaican. I'm Jamaican, so anything Jamaican, I would say oxtail, rice and peas. Yeah.
Favorite drink.
Coconut water.
Favorite breakfast cereal.
Oh, it has to be cornflakes and bran flakes.
Favorite movie?
Yeah, I thought about this yesterday. Wolf of Wall Street, I'll say, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
Uh, shit. Oh, man. I was gonna say Everybody Hates Chris.
Favorite musician?
Oh, right now I really like Burna Boy.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Probably have to be boxing.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. Yeah, probably has to be boxing, man. Yeah, yeah.
Favorite fight?
Favorite fight?
Yeah.
Fight I liked. Probably have to be oh shit. I'm gonna say Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman, the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite fighter?
Would say it was TJ, but you know, what I mean, he's a bit of a cheat, so I can't respect that. So I'd say what's he got like? The beat Nurmagomedov, yeah.
Favorite submission to practice?
I like the DOS.
That's a common one, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Funniest person you've met in MMA?
Probably my coach, Brad Pickett.
Yeah, knew that one was coming. Knew that
Yeah.
one was coming.
He's a funny guy, man.
Yeah, I was down the gym like a couple of years ago filming some stuff, and like
Yeah,
Paul Daly was there, and he was messing
yeah,
with Paul Daly the whole time. It was
yeah,
great.
yeah. The guy's a jokester, man. But yeah, he's good to have around as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I forget who it was, but he definitely got someone's shorts that day. I forget who it was, but
yeah.
and finally, best piece of advice you've been given.
Best piece of advice I've been given. Just always to believe in myself and obviously use that energy within me and direct it towards what I want to achieve, so my goals, my ambitions, and whatnot, and just to go after it. Yeah.
Cool. I want to thank you for taking the time. Finally, just give us the hard sell. When yourself, Ger Harris, step into the cage, Cage Warriors 174, what can the fans expect?
Expect Jawany Scott's hands to be raised again.
Can't say it any simpler than that. Thanks again for
Yeah.
taking the time. Best of luck next weekend, Jawany.
Oh, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure to have me on. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right then. Thank you. Bye bye.